Hey everyone, we are an hour and a half away from the release of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. I'm super excited, and I wanted to do a last minute sort of video talking about my day one decks. These are like fully built if I had access to every card, and some different ideas I want to try, and sort of my thinking and opinions of the cards that we have right now. So very excited to do that in an hour and a half when the game starts, if I finish this video by then, which I want to. I am going to be streaming. We're going to be streaming night one. I'm going to be opening packs. We're going to be building decks. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested in that, please come check it out and hang out. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Forest, I'm very excited about. I was never really like a super big Forest player. But some of the cards, like the Godwood staff here, are super interesting to me, and I really want to just try them out. And this deck is definitely built around the Opulent Rose Queen. I really want to make her work, and I think she could be good, but it's going to take, I think, a control build, so that's why we're going with some of these very good control cards like the Aaron, 7-drop, 6/8, select enemy file on the field and destroy it, restore 2 defense to your leader. One of my more favorite cards in the game right now, pre-release of course. More control tools like the Glade Frostwood Ward, Fanfare, draw 2 cards, 5-drop, 3/3. On evolve, deal damage split between all enemy followers. X is the amount of cards in your hand. And then we have the Phil Dow, who's the neutral guy who Evo and pop something. And then we have the Lily here, who combo 3 sets something to 1 health. And then on evolve, you're going to draw a card, and then you're going to deal 1 damage to an enemy follower, so you can deal 1 damage to that follower you set down to 1. So really like this. And then the rest of the deck is a lot of this sort of combo fodder, to get the Roach up and running, and to get the Godwood staff up and running, and to get the Lily up and running. So we have Good Fairy of the Pond. It's a 1-drop, and then it gives you a fairy into your hand. May, not necessarily combo fodder, but is can be that third card that we play to get the Godwood staff up. So like, or active, I should say. So if we go like, since on another turn after we play the Godwood staff, we have to actually play 3 cards, right? So we can go like 1-drop, May, we get that effect, and then we pass a turn and we draw a card from the Godwood staff. But also it is just a good removal combo piece. Bug Alert, bounce, deal 2 damage to random enemy follower. Fair Conviction, Convocation, put 2 fairies in your hand. And then the Stray Beast Man here, I really like him. 2-drop, 2/2, increase your combo by 1. So that's kind of our combo fodder. The rest of the cards in the deck are just good cards. Olivia is just insane. I think it's in every single one of the decks I have built right now. And then the Bale Luxglaive Warrior, one of the strongest forest cards, I think. This is a 0-mana 4/4, deal 4 damage to an enemy follower. It doesn't start at 0, of course, but you're going to get it to 0. So yeah, that is the deck. The goal is to try to get to Rose Queen and play Rose Queen down. Hopefully we don't die on that turn. And then the next turn, we have a bunch of these Bramble Bursts, which are 1-drop, deal 3 damage to an enemy follower or leader. And then we can go like Bramble, Roach, and we like deal a bunch of damage and kill them. That's sort of the goal and the hope. So hopefully it works. I'm really excited to try this or some sort of version of this. I just really like the 3 cards that really stand out to me in this class are the Godwood Staff. I love this card. The Aaron, I really like this card, and the Rose Queen, I think can end up being pretty good. So we will have to see. Next up, also I'm gonna have links to all of these decks in the description below. So if you want to check them out and try them, definitely should. Next, of course, is the class that I am most excited for. Sword is my main class. And they added like almost everyone that I love. Amelia, Val, from the card reveal, I definitely popped off when I saw Val. So, and I think Sword, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think it's the best class right now. It just has sort of like the highest quality cards. And yeah, so let's get into it. So we have a bunch of 2-drops. The Ignominious Samurai, he's going to be a 2-drop 2/1, Rush, and then if you've unlocked Super Evolve, gain Bane. So really like that. We have the Luminous Lance Trooper, who's going to summon a Knight. 1-drop 1, a 2-drop 1/2, and then summon a Knight. So that's 2 bodies. And then the Shinobi Squirrel is a 2-drop 2/1 ambush. I'm a little conflicted on this guy. I was debating about just playing like one of the neutral 2-drops, like the Fildau or a what's the name of the cherub, the greed, what's her name, Ruby, the one where you like swap a card in your hand. But we're gonna go with the Shinobi Squirrel for now. Of course, we have Val's, really good removal. this card is pretty nuts. 3-drop, deal 5 to something, and then in hand 6 we deal the 5, and then we're a 2/2, we're a 4/3 in ambush. Really like that. Kagemitsu, one of the legendaries, he's a 3-drop 2/2. Last words gain crest, Kagemitsu, and then the crest is countdown 2, and you resummon him. So once you get him down, he's pretty much going to come back every 2 turns for the rest of the game, unless they banish him. And what I like about this is you're going to be able to set him up for like an Amelia turn, where you can give him barrier, or like another turn where you're going to be playing down Zirconia, who buffs your board. This is one of the other extremely powerful cards in the deck. 4-mana, 4/4, Evo, summon 2 Knights, give all allied followers on the field +1/+1. So she's going to be a 6/6 and summon 2 2/2s. Really strong. I really like her Evolve art too. Luminous Magus is another extremely strong card that curves perfectly into Amelia. She's a 5-drop 1/3, summon 3 copies of Steelclad Knight, and then whenever an officer follower enters the field, give it ward. So she's a 5-drop 1/3, summon 3 2/2s with ward. Very, very strong card. Albert, of course, is going to be like our finisher, but also a mid-game storm option if we want to spend an evil point and push some face damage. And then Amelia is probably just the strongest card in the deck. 6-drop 4/4, on play, summon 2, or that'd be crazy. Draw 2 Swordcraft followers, recover 3 play points, and then on Super Evolve, you're going to give all allied Swordcraft followers on the field barrier. Very, very cool. Olivia, of course, the best card in the game. Geno, who I've seen some mixed opinions on Geno. I really want to try him, and I think he's going to be pretty good. 7-drop 7/6 Rush, can attack 2 times per turn, and then on strike, you give this follower barrier. So that means when you swing into something, you're going to gain barrier, and then he's basically not going to take damage back. And then he's going to summon a Knight as well. So really, you're going to be able to clear 2 things, summon 2 Knights, and then if he lives, of course, he's going to be this huge guy that can attack twice. So you might just win the game. It's a little bit like Medusa from Abyss that we'll probably talk about here soon. Really like Geno. And then rounding things out, the end game for this deck, Amalia Luxsteel Paladin, 8-drop 6/6, summon 4 copies of Steelclad Knight, and then whenever another allied follower comes into the field, give it +1 attack, rush, and ward. So it's a 6/6 that summons 4 3/2s with rush and ward. Obviously very, very, very strong. So yeah, that sword, I kind of missed Ironcrown Majesty. This is another card I really like. It's a 3-drop spell, and you can either choose to summon a 2/2 and a 1/1, or give all allied followers on the field +1 attack. So it's like a rousing step, but you could also use it for bodies in the early game. I really like this card. I think this deck is going to be very, very strong. Unfortunately, it uses every single legendary that you have access to outside of Cocytus. So, yeah, very expensive. Next is Spell Boost Rune. I'm pretty high on this deck. I might be wrong. This is the one that I'm like I'm high on it, but I'm not super confident in my opinion about it. So you're going to be playing a lot of these spells, and then you're going to get these cards like the Blaze Destroyer, the Dimension Climb, the Demonic Call, down to 0 cost to play them for free. And then you're going to have Kuon as a finisher or a mid-game, or mid to late game, big spell boost pumper, basically, because it's going to pump your hand by 5 spell boosts. And then you have some great mid-game options like the Anne and Greya. spell boost your hand 3 times, summon it and summoning, and then on evolve, you're going to deal 3 damage. So you're going to be able to do a very wide amount of board clear on that turn while progressing your game plan and pushing your spell boost forward. And then some of the stronger cards, the homework time, this is a 3-drop, draw 2, but then if you spell boost it 5 times, it becomes a 1-drop, draw 2, deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower, really strong. And then probably one of the stronger silvers in the game, at least right now, William Mysterian Student. X starts at 0, spell boost increase X by 1. Fanfare, deal X damage to all enemy followers, and then on evolve, spell boost your hand 2 times. So this is a board clear that scales basically infinitely based on your spell boost. This is going to really lock down that transition between the mid to late game. And then he also evos and spell boosts you, which is really, really good. I think this card is insane. So really excited to try this. I love Daria. I hope I get her leader. That's who I'm really, really hoping for. And yeah, just really pretty good stuff here for spell boost. And I don't know if it's bad. It's because we don't have enough spell boost payoffs, I think, is sort of my take. Also, we can do the cute thing with Cocytus where we put like a Cocytus in, and then we can do Dimension Climb, draw through our Cocytus deck, and then play that stuff out. People have been talking about that. I think it's interesting, and it will be worth a try, but I didn't put him in this build. So yeah, next is Dragon, the deck I think a lot of people think is the strongest. I'm not as high on Dragon as a lot of other people are, just because I think if you don't draw well, you just don't even have really a game to play. So, but we're going to go through it. So, we have our ramp options. We have a Dragon Sign. Let me drink some water real quick. Sorry. So, we have Dragon Sign, 3-drop, gain a max play point. Then if you have 10 play points, draw a card. And then we have the Liu Fang. On Evo, it's going to ramp you. And then if you're an Overflow, it ramps you again. Or not again, but it ramps you. And then we have some of this early game stuff. So like the Phil Dow that we've seen in a lot of decks. The Searing Fire Newt that's going to hopefully lock down the early game. One card I really love. I'm a big fan of Otohime. I think this card is really cool. It's a 1-drop amulet. And then you can engage it and pay 3. You discard a card from your hand, and you summon a 3-drop 2/2 with Storm and Ward. I like this card because, as we can see, we have a really high amount of high-cost cards. We have 16 cards that are past 7 cost or higher. And I love this idea of being able to turn some of these really expensive cards that we won't be able to play all of them out in one game into some tempo and some like storm damage and some stuff like that. Some wards as well. So I think this is worth experimenting. It might not end up being actually good, but I want to try it, and I think it'll help the consistency of the deck in a certain way. And then we have all the late game stuff. We have the Fortes. I call it 40 sometimes. Burn Knight, who's going to be some burn damage and an AoE. Garyu, who's going to build you a big board. Twilight Dragon, that's going to be even more AoE. And then Genesis Dragon, who's going to close some games out. And we added the one of Cocytus here just in case we get to a really grindy game against some control decks. And we can ramp up to this card and, hopefully win the game through our value of the Apocalypse deck. So definitely going to be one of the more popular decks, I think. But it'll be interesting to see how consistent it is. That's sort of my worry right now. Next class, Abyss. Definitely the class that took the biggest hit from the card reveals in terms of I was very high on it before the whole card set came out. Now I'm pretty down on it, but it might still be okay. So we're trying to just do a mid-range Abyss. We're just playing basically all the good cards. We're playing all the good cards. Playing all the good 2-drops as well, like the Mino, the Orthrus, and then the Phil Dow. One card that I really think might end up being just extremely strong, even with the downside, is the Beryl Nightmare Incarnate. She's a 2-drop 3/3. On play, deal 3 damage to your leader. And then on evolve, it restores 5 defense to your leader. I think that this overstated 2-drop might be good enough to take the 3 damage, and you're just like okay with that with that trade-off, because I don't think aggro is gonna really exist in this game, at least currently. So I really like that. And then we have the Chaos Cyclone, which is a really cool card. It's a 2-drop, and you can choose to either draw a follower or reanimate 2. So if we get Beryl dead, we can just reanimate her, and we won't take the fanfare effect, which I think is really cool. So I'm interested to see Beryl. I'm interested to see what we're doing with Beryl. Soul Predation, we just have to play, but it's a super weak version of Soul Conversion. Little Miss Bonemancer, good early game bodies and shadow production. Muktan is going to be our mid-game auto Evo guy. He's going to summon a ghost with Bane and stuff like that. And then we have Gravy, who's a 7 damage AoE. I think this is good enough. And then also we have the Evo effect where we deal 3 damage to both leaders. If he lives, we can Evo, deal 3 damage to both leaders, and then swing 6 so that, we're pushing 9 damage. Of course, that's if he lives. He's at 3 health, so he probably won't. But I think just still good enough because he has AoE. Olivia is in every deck. Actually, Olivia was not in Rune. Medusa, one of the strongest legendaries in the game, in my opinion. 7-drop, 3/7, rush, can attack 3 times per turn. Follower struck, destroy the opposing follower. So you can play this, rush into 3 things, kill them, and then if this thing lives, you can super evolve next turn and push 18 damage face. You have to kill this thing if you are the opponent, but if they're not able to, then you're balling. You are in a very good spot. And of course, we're rounding it out with Hector. I'm joking. Cerberus. She's just going to be big board fill, big board buff. She's going to be doing a lot of things, reanimating the Coco and the Mimi that you get. One interesting thing to note, to star, is, to highlight, I should say, is the fact that if we're playing Cerberus, we really want her to re-summon the Coco and the Mimi, so we cannot play 1-drops in the deck, because that will dilute the pool of reanimate targets on her Super Evolve. So keep that in mind when you're building your own Abyss deck, is balancing. And now, also the other thing is, like, that might be a fine risk-reward. Like, if you want to play some of the 1-drops or some of the bats and stuff, and you're just like, I'm fine with the Cerberus Super Evo, like, not mattering or whatever, then that's fine. But that is just something to keep in mind. So yeah, that is Abyss. I wouldn't be shocked if it was good. I would be shocked if it's like the best deck. That's sort of how I would say. I think that if it is the best deck, it's because we are undervaluing the deal damage to yourself aspect, where it's like, this card might just be nuts because the 3 damage to yourself just doesn't matter. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm really interested to see what happens with Abyss. Next class is Haven, another class I'm like kind of excited for. This is Amulet Haven-ish. It's kind of Control Haven. We have our big board clear in the Unholy Vessel. 6-drop Amulet, engage and destroy this and card and all followers. And then we have a fun combo where we can go play Maeve. And then when she dies, you're going to be able to get the Unholy Grail again because she resummons an amulet with the highest base cost. I really like this little combo. Another thing with the Unholy Vessel is the fact that you can you can hold it on the field. So if you want to try to develop a Cocytus, you can play it beforehand, and then they go to their turn, pass back to you. You go crack the Holy Grail, clear the board, and then it makes up for the tempo loss of playing this 10-10 that doesn't do anything. And then we just have really good cards like the John. The Rodeo is a cool card because it you discard a card and you summon 3 amulets from your deck, and then on Super Evolve it's going to banish a follower. I really like this, and it deals 1 damage to all enemy followers. So yeah, and then we have a bunch of these really good amulets like the Dose of Holiness, deal 4 damage to something. We have the Pact of the Beast Princess. This is going to summon a tiger. And then we have one of my favorite amulets, the Dark Haven Grace. It's a 2-drop, engage 1, or engage, so that means you pay 1 and engage it. Select an allied file on the field and give it +1/+1, and restore 1 defense to your leader. I love this card because it gives you an outlet to dump extra mana into. Since we're missing so many 1-drops and everything, you're going to be able to just get a lot of value from, like, hey, have 1 extra play point. Let me just, like, buff one of my guys and heal myself once. And it's a really good use of your play points. And then we can combine him with the Rona Vero, yeah. He's a 4-drop 1/3 ambush. And then on evolve, he's going to summon or select the enemy file on the field and destroy it. I really like this card. I really like this card a lot, especially combined with the Dark Haven Grace. So yeah, that's Haven. I think it could end up being pretty good. I bet it'll end up being like sort of the premier control deck. We do have one more control deck to talk about that I think will end up being really good. But yeah, pretty cool there. Next is Portal. I actually have 2 Portal decks. Sorry about that. This is Artifact Portal. Thinking about it and putting it together more, I think Artifact Portal might end up being really good. We have a lot of these really high tempo cards that are going to give us the red and the blue gear. And then we have a lot of these cards like the Alouette and like the Ralmia that's going to be able to let us play down the artifacts for not their full cost, basically. And then we have the built-in finisher of the Masterwork Omega artifact, which is the big 10-drop 10/10 that deals AoE, heals you, and then Stormward Aura. So I really like this. I really like this deck. And I'm going to be interested to see how it plays and if it's good. We also added just like Orcus because it's just a good card in itself. So we put 2 of those in there. And yeah, this is the deck that I'm most interested to see play out. Bullet from Beyond is also like a really insane removal piece that like I was even considering, like, do you just play this in every Portal deck? Because then you can use 2 of the gears to make either a rush guy or a ward guy, probably a rush guy. So you kind of have like 2 pieces of removal in one card. Kind of weird stuff like that I think could be really interesting. So excited to see this. Excited to see this play out. It will probably be pretty easy to build too, because a lot of the good cards are silvers and bronzes. If you want to check out some budget builds, I just uploaded a video talking about that. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. And then last deck is another Portal deck. It's Puppet Portal. I think this might be the premier control deck in the format. Puppets, of course, have innate rush, but you have so many good cards like this. The best bronze in the game, in my opinion, the Medical Grade Assassin. 3-drop, 2/2. Add an enhanced puppet to your hand. Once on each of your turns when a puppetry follower, that's puppets or enhanced puppets, enter the field, give it Bane. So you're going to really be able to lock down the early game with this card. If you get any other puppet generators early on, you can play it on 3 with the 0 cost. So the Lovestruck Puppeteer in the Puppet Theater Room. We also added an interesting card that I think will be pretty good in this deck, the Apollo. 3-drop 1/2, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. If you play this and combine it with puppets, you're going to actually be able to clear a large amount of boards. So I think that's kind of interesting. He also has an Evo effect that does the exact same thing. So this is going to be pretty good against Sword. And then we also have the Divine Thunder. Very similar to that idea, but we also need an option to kill Forte, because that is something that Puppet is lacking, is hard removal. So that's why we've added the Fildau, the Divine Thunder, and this new card, well, all of them are new cards, but Sylvia, Garden Executioner, 6-drop, 5/5, Fanfare, select a mode to activate, draw 2 cards, or restore 4 defense to your leader. So a very module card where you can, like, hey, I need a heal or I need draw. You're probably going to be taking the draw most of the time. And then the Evo, pop something, and if you Super Evolve, you pop 2 things. So that's pretty good. Also, if you remember when I talked about this card, Yudi, I think this card is absurd, but you have to find the deck for it, and I think Puppets is the deck for it. If you can somehow scratch 4 draws off of this card, you are balling. You are in a really good spot. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of the premier control decks, actually, because you just have so many options and your card value is so high. I put the Liam in here, but I do wonder if you just go the Cocytus route. But it depends on how late game you get. If you can get really to late game, I think we might want to put the Cocytus in. Especially because you can combine Cocytus with some Puppets and maybe like play Cocytus and then clear a little bit of the board so you don't lose that much tempo. But yeah, it will be really interesting to see, because I think the issue with this deck right now is you don't really have a way to win the game. So Cocytus might be that really high value card that you play to like win the game. So yeah, so that is all the decks. Quickly, I do just want to say, like, I think Sword is going to end up being like one of the better decks. I think Force, once people figure it out, might end up being pretty good too. Rune, sort of similar in Forest. I think maybe I'm just wrong in that it's really good, but I feel like it's really good. Dragon, I think, is the deck that is the most hyped right now, but will come down a little bit. Abyss, I think, there's only up. Abyss only has up. There's you can't go much further down than Abyss is right now. Haven is I think just going to be pretty good. I think it's just going to be a good control deck. And then Portal has 2 really interesting decks that are going to take some experimenting and some fiddling to figure out, but I think both of them will end up actually being pretty good. So yeah, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. These are some of the decks I'm going to be trying to build first. Hopefully we can get some of these legendaries and stuff, maybe get a little lucky on the polls. And if you want to see me poll and enjoy the first night of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, make sure to check out my stream in, at this point, 50 minutes. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later tonight. Bye-bye.